might finish in class. Okay, so long division. We're going to start with a basic number division to review dividing numbers by hand. So not with a calculator, because then we're going to move to polynomials where we have like x's and you won't be able to use a calculator. But the process is the same, dividing this as dividing polynomials. We'll see if this comes back to you. What goes on the outside? 6. And on the inside? 174. So this is called the divisor. This is called the dividend. And your answer, you know what the answer is called that we're going to get? Quotient. That's an O. Quotient. So I know it might seem silly, but it's going to help you when we get to the other long division. Okay, so we start with the 6. How many times does 6 go into 17? 2. What do you do next? Right, I multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, so first thing we're definitely going to do is this 2 times 6, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to multiply in a second. And then, what do I do with these two numbers? You subtract. I'm going to circle it because basically I'm changing the sign. It was positive 12, now it's negative. So 17 minus 12 is 5. And what do I do? Good, drop the 4. What's next? How many times does 6 go into 54? 9. What do I do with the 9? Multiply again. 9 times 6 is 54. What do I do here? Subtract, and I get 0. So my remainder is 0. So then my answer is just 29. Could I check this?
Yes.
Oh, what I do? Right, just multiply 6 times 29. Does that equal 174? So you technically could check your answers today also. It just obviously is a little more work. Let's do one more number 1 and then we'll do some with some x's. Number 2. Is it coming back to you? Hopefully. Did you guys actually do this though? Like you've done this before, right? No. I mean, I don't know. 5th grade? Okay, so on the outside we have 12. And on the inside, 2,624. How many times does 12 go into 26?
Oh, 2.
Twice. That's right. What do I do now? Multiply. 2 times 12 is 24. And I subtract right here. 26 minus 24 is 2. And then do I bring down the 2 or the 4 or both? Just the 2. Just the 2. So you bring down one piece at a time. Okay, do it again. What times 12 gives me, or how many times does 12 go into 22? 1 time. Multiply again. 1 times 12 is 12. Make sure here you're subtracting. You don't have to circle it, but in a minute when we do polynomials, it's going to be easier if you circle it. So 22 minus 12 is 10. Drop the 4. 8 times. So 12 goes into 104 8 times. And 8 times 12 is 96. So I subtract here, and what do we get? 8. So I know sometimes you keep going and you do decimals, but we don't have to do that with polynomials, so I'm just going to write this 218 remainder 8. Because we will not do decimals today. I promise. Or tomorrow. Alright, are you ready to try one with x's? It's not horrible. Like, most people look at it and they complain about it, and then after we do it, they're like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. Alright, so number 3, let's try one. Plus 3x, right? So x squared plus 3x minus 40. We're going to divide that by x minus 5. It's not horrible. I promise. I promise. Okay, so the smaller one goes on the outside. X minus 5 is our divisor. And on the inside goes x squared plus 3x minus 40. Let's do that. So similar start, except instead of just a number out here, I have 2 things. So we're only going to focus on this first one and this first one. So just like you say, how many times did 6 go into whatever it was, 17? Same thing here. What times x gives me x squared? An x. Now, if you're having trouble figuring that out, you can divide x squared divided by x, right here, x squared divided by x. When you divide, what do you do with exponents? Subtract. So 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, and these today will all be similar. Tomorrow we'll get a little bit bigger, but it's not terrible. Okay, after we put a number up here, what did we do with that number? You multiply. So same thing. I'm going to go x times x. What would that give me? X squared. Then I have 2 things to multiply. So I have to distribute this. I also have to do x times negative 5. And what would that be? Negative 5x. Notice I put the x above this x. So I keep everything in nice, neat lines. Because when your problems get bigger, you want to keep it nice. Okay, after we multiplied, what did I do here? Subtract. So I'm going to subtract here. But I have another thing. When I subtract a negative, what does this change to? A positive. So I'm going to make that a plus, and I'm going to circle it so I know I changed it. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. When you multiply 2 things here, you subtract the first one or add it, depending on the sign, and you just change the signs. And I always change it and I circle it. So what happens to my x squareds? They cancel. 3x plus 5x is 8x. Bring down the negative 40. Is there any part of this that you don't know where I got before we move on? We're not done yet. Okay, so we just do it again. Like we did here, now I'm going to move to here. What times x gives me 8x? Positive 8. If it was negative 8x, I would write a negative 8. Okay, multiply again. 8 times x is 8x. 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. This is the part people forget. They always subtract this first one. They forget the second one. So this is going to turn to a plus. Because you're distributing it negative. Plus you. So what do I get here? Nothing. 0. I want to make sure you go all the way to the end. Okay, because some of them tomorrow will be different and have remainders. Today we're just going to do something with 0. So just x plus 8 is your answer. Okay, next one. X squared plus 7x minus 30 divided by x plus 10. So set it up on your paper. The small one goes on the outside, the big one goes on the inside. x plus 10. So the ones we're doing today are all kind of similar. Tomorrow we'll get a little bit bigger. We'll have remainders. So I start here. What times x gives me x squared? Is x. So I put an x up above there. Make sure you multiply both parts. X times x is x squared. X times 10, 10x. So I subtract here. And what do I do here? You also subtract. So it's a plus, it changes signs, it becomes minus. So the x squareds go away. Then I have 7x minus 10x, which is negative 3x. And I bring down the negative 30. And then we do it again. What times x gives me negative 3x? Positive or negative 3? Negative 3. And that's what I was going to say too, because you guys sometimes will miss this negative. Multiply again. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And negative 3 times 10, negative 30. So this is negative, it becomes positive. And this one becomes positive. That cancels and that cancels, so I get a remainder of 0. So my answer is x minus 3. So if I was to take x minus 3 and x plus 10, if I take my quotient, what I got here, and my divisor, I multiply them together, I should get this, x squared plus 7x minus 30. So you could check yourself if you wanted to. Just takes a little bit longer. Okay, I want you to try number 5. Let's see how you do. Number 5, x squared minus 13x plus 12. Okay, so try that. Set it up. See if you can start it. See if you can finish it. questions on that one? You should get x minus 12. I think most of you got it. X minus 12. Okay, so I want you to do one more, and once you show me your answer, I'm going to give you your take-home quiz to start working on. So last one of these, oh, that's not it. Sorry. X squared minus 2x minus 24 divided by x plus 4. So once you're done, just raise your hand. I'll come and see your answer, and then I'll give you your quiz to start on. If you need help, let me know so I can help you.